Good evening. Hi, this is Candia. I hope you are doing well this evening. It's so weird to look out my window and see that it's dark. I don't know about you, but I'm not loving the time change. I like it when it's light. We feel more energized, right? Well, tonight I've got all kinds of goodies that I want to talk about just because there is so much going on the planet. I don't know where you are at this point in time. I happen to live obviously in the United States. However, everything that's happening right now is happening to all of us. It's not just those of us who are in America that are dealing with an election. I want to come at this, though, from a very spiritual point of view, not just from the political point of view, because with politics, as you well know, they can take us down a dark and dreary path. However, it does impact us, straight up. Politics do impact us. Religion impact us. Hey there, thank you. Everything that's going on in the outer orbits of our lives do impact who we are and where we are and what we're doing. So tonight I've got several different topics I want to discuss. I also have some questions from the field that I want to bring into the conversation. Sheila, thanks for being here. You're awesome. Thank you so much. I have to share too, my cat Sage is sitting on my lap right now. She had to come join the show. I love this. And my friends, so thank you. And I think what I'm going to do is, because again, I've got lots of different things that I want to talk about. One, of course, is that we are our own saviors. We are it. We are our own avatars. That's definitely going to be a big focal point of this evening's conversation. Had a request for another visualization, so we're going to talk about that at the end of the evening as well. And in the beginning, I'm going to, because I don't normally pull cards, however, I pulled another crystal card because I happen to love gems and rocks, and I think the gemstone world has a lot to teach us. And so I drew a card for this week. It's funny, the images I've been getting through different readings actually have been about navigation, and so we're going to talk about that as well. So I was curious if in this card that I pulled tonight, if we were going to talk about navigation. But not so. The card I pulled is carnelian, which is a beautiful stone. I actually have pieces of carnelia. Oh, you're hilarious. Hi there. Hi, Mr. Canada. How are you? I have pictures of carnelian, or pictures of carnelian. I have pieces of carnelian around the house. So carnelian is here for us for this next week. It's about healing, creativity, energy, calmness, grounding, and stability. And I really think no matter where we are on the planet that we need to be grounded. Grounding is literally about getting out into nature, about getting our feet literally wet, if you will, walking in the grass, sitting under trees, sitting on rocks, being connected to the earth. It's very important, and so many people, because of the disconnect politically, are ungrounded. So if you can get in the habit energetically of grounding through visualization of growing long roots, literally from your feet, into the earth and getting connected to the earth. Hey Sam, how are you? I love this. Getting connected to the earth, it will really make a difference on how you feel energetically. So many of our kids today are not grounded due to sitting in front of a computer, sitting in front of an iPad, on their phones. And because of the EMFs, the electromagnetic frequencies that are disrupting everybody, especially children, it's so important to get them outside. Even when the weather changes, get outside, sit under a tree, like I said, walk along a stream if you can, hang out in a park. Do as much as you can to get fresh air and get reconnected to the earth. It will not only help boost our immune systems, but it will help us mentally and emotionally become more energized and more happy. Let's just put it that way, happy. We've had so much disruption on this planet, and it's not just about America. It's about the whole world. The fact that we are locked down. They're clamping down again, of course, in Canada, in Australia, New Zealand, here in the United States, here in Oregon. They're clamping down in different counties, which is nonsense, okay? Just, I've got opinions there. So anyway, that's why it's so important to be as grounded as possible. Again, I'm going to try and navigate on the outskirts of the political scene, because if I get too embroiled in it, and trust me, I've got information from here to China and back, ironically, that could possibly take me down, and I'm just starting on YouTube, so I don't want to go there. So again, I will tap into it through different framework, through different language. So anyway, back to the crystal carnelian and how it's going to help us to navigate this next week. Again, this is new. I haven't read this, so this is as new to me as it is to you tonight. This wonderful crystal offers you protection and healing. This is important because this is fascinating how this correlates to several of the questions that people in the field offered me today to bring onto the live. So how perfect is that? So again, we will utilize this later with the questions. It will help dissolve the sadness you have recently experienced, as well as calm your thoughts and ease your anxiety. Ooh, sadness, that's a big one. I think I am not alone in the sadness category. Sadness can be anything from relationships to being disconnected from your friends to what's going on politically, you name it. Sadness can be, or grief, grief if you have lost someone. Carnelian will also help you express your emotions and stimulate your creativity, which is essential when things are so crazy upside down right now. Creativity is huge. It really helps balance the disconnect we have in the world. So even if you're just creative in the kitchen, it will help you reconnect with that alignment of who you are. You are encouraged to take up a creative pursuit or hobby at this time. Start to express yourself in whatever way you choose without judgment. Ooh, that's a big one, judgment. This is bigger than just the card and just about our creativity and judgment. Working right now with what's going on around the planet, learning how to navigate without judgment, not so easy. It's a good lesson. Working with color will be especially helpful at this moment, for color can also help to stabilize and heal your emotions. Over the coming days, you will begin to feel a renewed sense of peace, joy, and wonderment for life. Give thanks for the wondrous blessing you are receiving. So this is a good thing because this ironically corresponds and correlates, let me put that away, with what's going on in our alignment astrologically. Astrologically, we've got all these planets doing this and that, and don't ask me all the details because I'm not an astrologer. However, I get a sense of what's happening. That's an easier way of putting it if you're not totally into the trines and the squares and all that other stuff that a good astrologer knows about. But what's happening is we are moving retro. That Mars is going to be going coming out of retrograde and going forward again in Aries. We're talking about explosive energy. The other thing is Jupiter and Pluto are conjunct this coming week, and what that is going to do is expansion in the underworld together, right? So what that means to me is that there is going to be a lot of information that is going to be coming out over the next 3 months of this underworld, which has gone on globally, as we all know. If you don't, call me on the side, we can talk about this. The underground nonsense, the horrible things, hi Trace, that's going on around the planet, right? And all of this is going to start to come to light because, again, the cosmos is aligning with our energies in very positive ways that it's going to help support our journey. So this revelation of, again, the underworld with the expansion of that all the ones that have been misusing power and abusing power, misusing power, and this is not just about right now, this is about decades, centuries in some cases, of power. This kind of information is going to come out, and it cannot not. Even though it may look differently in the news at this point in time, spiritually, astrologically, earthwise, all things are leading, all roads are leading to Mecca. Let's put it that way. So no matter how it looks on the outside view, intuitively it's going to come out. It will be revealed, which is really a fantastic thing. So trust that. I love the fact you guys are all communicating. That's a wonderful thing. I love this. So knowing that, it kind of can help you then relax, heal, be calm, stay centered, get creative. That's why I love this. The carnelian is actually mirroring and balancing that and letting us know that, okay, we need to stay in our alignment, in our stronghold, if you will, to navigate. Because again, that's been my favorite word today, navigating the winds of change, navigating the paths of things that are coming our way. Now, what's important to understand is the things that come your way, my way, globally, are all individually based, meaning that whatever you are creating in your world is going to, thank you, are coming your way because you have created this within your orbit, within your solar system. So in that way, there is no shame, no blame, no guilt, nothing, because we are the creators of our own journey. It is not something that comes at us. Those who feel that life comes at them are actually operating from a lower frequency, a lower vibrational pattern, from a lack of understanding that the world operates, the cosmos operates on a much higher frequency than that. So if you recognize that you are the creator of your own world and that the energy that is in your space is there for your, let's use the word enjoyment, for your knowledge, for your experience, for your wisdom, for your gain. If you take responsibility for that and understand the word responsibility, response to, how do you respond to any kind of given situation? When you look at it from that reality point, then you are the captain of your own ship. You then have the ability to navigate the waters because you're taking responsibility for the fact that you create your own reality. And I think this is a really important aspect. So many people are still vibrating, okay, in the lower realms where they let everything come at them. And I mean, we're talking shit hitting the fan all the time. I know people like that. And it's because they haven't taken the wheel of, if you will, of their own ship. Does that make sense? I'm sure it makes sense. So if the more you really gather to you the sense that you're in charge, you have this ability to navigate your own waters, then what you focus on will then be able to be the next point of reference in your navigation. Okay? Does that make sense? So now, to take that another step, being responsible. Oh, there goes my cat. Gives you an opportunity to really look at yourself through new eyes. Okay, what does that mean? What if you looked at life in the context of life is a game, right? This is why I feel that we've had so many games come on the scene over the last, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years. I mean, the gaming world has exploded because it is a hologram of what it is that we are experiencing. You in charge of the game, right, with your little controllers, create the world in which you want to live. Well, imagine if the world that we are living in right here, right now, is a game, that we are in a simulation. If that's the case, who are you? What would you be? What kind of powers would you have? How would you see yourself? How do you see yourself? Why don't you think about that for a minute? Hi, Chrissy. Nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. So with that, think about that. We did this. My son and I did this. Let's see, last week. I'm going to give you out a website. It's really fun. It's very fun. And it's called Hero Forge, just like it sounds, being a hero and forging, Hero Forge. And on a certain level, you may think this is kind of crazy. However, in reality, human beings are very visual. We see things, we like them, the next shiny object. We are very connected to and inspired by not only beautiful things, but interesting things, fascinating things. So with that, seeing things visually really makes a difference. So Hero Forge is a website where you can design your own avatar. So guess what? We did that. It was very fun. And so I will be getting my own little avatars, probably about this big. And I actually invite all of you to go on their website. They don't know me from Adam. I'm getting nothing from this. However, it's a fun exercise because it gives you an opportunity to really look at who are you? What are the extra skills that you would add into your tool basket, right? Your tool chest. So would you have wings? Would you have something that you can carry tool sets? There's my other cat trying to get in. Would you carry with you a magic wand? Would you have a sword? What are the things that you would carry to represent your inner strengths? How would you look? I mean, it's really fun. So I'll describe what I did just to give you an idea. And I shared this with some other people, and they go, oh, I'd have wings, and I'd be able to do this. And my son's girlfriend, who's absolutely adorable, she said, well, I would like to have a carriage. I'd like to be, I'd like to have wings. I'd like to have fairy wings, and I'd like to have this little carriage pulled by pugs. I mean, how hysterical. She's very happy. She's very light. She's very smart. I'm not saying that, but she's light-filled and heart-centered, very fun. So mine, on the other hand, I have a magic. I have a, God, I can't even think. A crystal ball, because I don't use crystal balls. I actually have a couple crystal balls back there. I have a crystal ball on my one hand, and I have a crystal, uh, I'm not going to call it a sword, but it's a wooden staff with crystals on the end for energy. And then I'm sitting on a wolf, and I have my cat. I have a wolf dog, actually, I do. But I'm sitting on this large wolf, and I have a cat, my magical cat, and my cat is incredibly magical. And then I have crystals below me. I have a dress that can go like this so that I can be invisible in any kind of situation. Oh, now my cats are going to fight. Don't we love this? So the point is, of course, I have magic jewelry on too. So my invitation is to all of you here is to think about yourself in magical terms. Imagine again, if you're in a game. Who are you in this game? What are the things, what are the tools that you would put on yourself, how you see yourself? And the reason I think this is so important is that we do not give ourselves enough credit. We don't give ourselves enough, I guess, love. I'm trying to come up with the right word because I'm never short of words, but the right word to describe what I'm saying, because we downplay our attributes, we downplay our abilities, we downplay our intelligence, we downplay, today our kids are being taught how to not use deductive reasoning. They are taught to do what they're told. Okay, they've given up their brains, right? We have to take that back. That's what this time frame is all about, taking back our own personal power as humans. And when we do this, we have the ability to not only change our own individual timelines, but the world's. So again, I want you to think about who you are. What would you be? How would you be different? How would the world see you? How would you like to have the world view you and experience what it is that you put out? Again, in your strongest attribute, your strongest and most courageous self, how would you be different? That's how we start changing how we view ourselves, okay? Because really when it gets down to it, most people don't view themselves from a place of strength. They view themselves from a sense of lack. I've been working with people for a very long time, and when I get down to it, and we get down into the heart center, so many people don't feel that they are enough, that they don't have enough, back to intelligence, creativity, athleticism, you name it, goes on and on and on, right? So by creating an image for yourself that you can then visualize in your mind of who you are, you have the ability to take yourself to the next level, to take yourself to a place of powerfulness instead of lack of power. We have been living, excuse me, as a collective in the third density, the third chakra energy, the third area of chakra energy, which is yellow frequency, which is all about empowerment and disempowerment. We have been living with disempowerment for centuries, if not millennia. I mean, we've got this huge date coming up, the 21st of December. We have a huge portal that hasn't happened astrologically for 6,000 years. That's how long we've been dealing with this feeling of disempowerment. So we are moving into a new time frame, into obviously the age of Aquarius. We've talked about that before, but we are moving into a place of empowerment so that the power comes from within ourselves, from our fellow humans, I'm saying that, and we are not giving our power over to government. We're not giving our power over to educational systems, or we're not giving our power over to religious systems. We are then taking that power back within ourselves and connecting in to our own divine sovereignty, where we are in alignment with goodness, actually, with making good choices, with taking responsibility, of helping each other, being of service, looking in a spiritual context to divine consciousness rather than to icons within a religion. Religion has been man-made, folks. Let's be honest, it's man-made. Divine consciousness is expansive. It's all-encompassing, and that is what has created us. That is what has brought us to where we are. So when we're in alignment with that higher dimensional frequency, again, we not only raise our frequencies, but we become more individually empowered, and we have the courage to be who we totally came here to be. Now, if you go back in time to when we all chose to come into body, and we chose our how we look, we chose our families, we chose our locations, we chose everything that we came here to learn and to experience. However, we go down that long tube into birth, into the birth canal, and we come out on this side. All of a sudden, over the next course of 2 to 7 years, amnesia sets in. It's like this fog comes in over the head. And when that happens, we have lost our divine connection. We have lost our know-how of who we are. So through time, the clouds start to fade away, and we have that connection then again with our inner self. That's what this time frame represents, is our ability to clear the fog, to be more in tune, to be more in alignment with the magic, truly the magic of the universe. That's why creating an avatar for yourself, a magical avatar, is really a wonderful visual, because you can start to see that your magical skills are actually right here. When people ask me what I do, I say I do magic, because I have believed in my powers. I have believed in my strengths. And so I want to share that to help others do the same thing. For example, my magic is one of my magical, and I don't need my avatar for that, but I can look at any one of you and I can see if your bones are out of alignment and do magic in the air and put your bones back in alignment. That's my magic. It's one of those gifts that I was given. So if you can look at yourself, at the gifts that you have, and most importantly, the difference between who I am and who you are is belief. I believe I can do these things. I knew it, and I worked and worked and worked. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I worked and worked and worked and worked until I got it. Took me 10 years. I didn't care. I kept at it. I didn't stop, and that's the key. You have to stay on focus. You have to stay pointed to your North Star so that you stay on track and you recognize that you can do these things. You have magical skills, and it can be painting, it could be writing, it could be, for Mr. Canada, creating totem poles. It can be, oh, I love it when people are talking, that your magic can be medicinal herbs. It could be gardening, it could be cooking. I mean, it doesn't have to be literally magic, but we do have these gifts. And that's why I encourage you, once again, the website is called Hero Forge. Look at it. It's very fun. If you're a visual person, it is something that I would recommend, because you can look at your magical gifts and put it on your desk and remind yourself of who you are. Perfect. She's a chiropractor with words and paints, putting things back together. So perfect. That's a great thing. See, she's pulling in her magical gifts. So by creating an avatar, again, in your mind or visually, I'll be honest with you, when everything was said and done, because I had a big wolf in me, it wasn't a cheap date in doing it. However, since I am such a writer, having that avatar that I can visually look at, I think will be really inspiring. So again, Hero Forge for creating your own avatar so that you can be your most magical self. Because again, if we are living in this game that's a simulation, on a certain level it is, then it gives you the control back in your life. I mean, I don't know how many of you would say, yeah, I'm not in control of my life, and I'm here to reflect back to you that yes, you are. The more you take charge of your own life and focus on what it is that you want, puts you right back in the driver's seat. And yes, we can always say from the bigger aspect that God's in control. In reality, this is a free world. What's what I was going to say? A free will. There it is. A free will world, meaning that whatever you create is what you create. God didn't ordain that. The church didn't ordain that. Government didn't ordain that. You did. You have made choices along the path, right or left or straight ahead, right or left or up and over, that have determined where you are right this second, right this minute. So this minute, this eternal now, is what do you want to expand upon? What do you want to experience, right? What do you want to take into this next month, the next 3 months, the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. And that all starts with right now. That's why if you start seeing yourself from this level, it's very fun. Now, back to the word avatar, because again, that's what we're talking about, being your own avatar. There are two different definitions of avatar. One is the manifestation of a deity or a released soul in bodily form on earth, an incarnated divine teacher. Now, we've had many avatars throughout the millennia that have come on board, come on ship, if you will, the Mother Earth ship, to teach us, to guide us. Now, some of those, we have taken their words and brought them in and utilized them to the best of our abilities. And some of those we have totally misconstrued and made very dogmatic religious out of them. They have guided us in the past, yes. However, we are breaking free of the old dogmas. That doesn't mean that you can't be aligned with a spiritual teacher. That's not what I'm advocating. I'm advocating being your own spiritual guru, connected to source on your own, versus going directly through to a priest, a pastor, on and on and on, to have them guide you. You are your best avatar. You're your best form. You are your best pathway. The other part of the definition for avatar is an icon or figure representing a particular person, and it can be very graphical, and that's where going to Hero Forge is a great way to create that image. Now, with your avatar, think about navigating the path that you desire. What is it that you would like to navigate? And right now, we've got all this stuff that's coming our way, and navigating through all the mayhem is going to be very important. So when you do that, you come from a place of alignment. One of the questions I'm going to bring up one of the questions because it's perfectly timed, is what is the best way to protect my energy? And protecting your energy and your energy field goes right in alignment with navigation, with being your best avatar. And how do you protect your energy is this. This is very important, and this is just as important for adults and even more importantly for children today, is to start your morning, go to sleep this way, when you go to the bathroom, when you're sitting at a stoplight, when you're cooking food, I don't care. Start getting in the habit of being in alignment. So literally seeing yourself, all your chakras lined up, essentially pointing to your higher self, to your North Star, right? Being in alignment. And then visualizing this arc of light going all the way around you, below you, all the way around. And if you start your day and you end your day in this alignment, this is alignment from your heart to your throat, all your chakras literally, but your heart energy, your communication, your intuitive self, your higher self, and connected to source, and you've got this light around you. And of course, for those who are connected to me, you know that I am all about soul rays, and the color of light around you amplifies your energy signature, so you can energize that light around you with color. And then this is the piece. How do you protect yourself? Is imagine, this is if I am touching a light source, a boundary of light, and then you reinforce that above you, below you, around you, and literally below your feet, visualize in your mind, and you start your day with that. And when you're in alignment, you are connected. Doesn't mean shit doesn't hit the fan, but it comes at you differently. It's like when it hits, goes off the side. When your kids are crying, talk to them about seeing them in their light again. You visualizing and then helping them see themselves in a bubble of light. You essentially are the snowman, snow woman in your snow globe. So when you start from that energy sphere, and you take that into the world as your avatar self, then you are coming from a place of alignment. When you do that, what's so great is then all the things that could be coming your direction move aside as you navigate through the waters. And the reason is this, is then you are taking control of your own thinking, of your response ability to any kind of situation. You are responding from a place of being proactive. So this is the important element, by staying in your light, connected to source. Now what happens is emotional things, scary things, fearful things, we're going to talk about fear and frustration in a minute, take us over here, take us out of our light. When that happens, then our ability to navigate isn't as clear, because then things start hitting us again. It's like the bugs on the windshield all of a sudden start hitting our faces now, instead of allowing the boundary of light to take that for us. So when you're kind of going, oh God, what's going on? And everything's like this, and you've got too much on your plate. Take a minute. If you have to, go into the bathroom, close the door, clear out the space, see yourself back in your light. Again, when you're back in the light, see your avatar self. See all your magical skills within this light form. And when you do that, life changes. You don't react to things. You respond instead. When you come from a place of responding instead of reacting, the outcome is so much different. Your ability to see things with new eyes and from a new vision and understanding the experience takes on a whole new meaning. So that's how you start your day, is in your light. And I talk about this over and over again because, again, life gets in the way and out of our light we go. And then we don't know how to deal with situations that come upon us that in reality are creations of our own thinking, our own focus, our own ability. Now, sometimes it feels like things are out of our control. I can speak from experience there, where it feels like everything you're doing, you really can't navigate around the larger aspect. Well, if that's what's going on in your world, for example, let's say you have children that need to be in school, and instead this larger context of the kids being, having to stay home, you having to homeschool, you trying to manage a job as well, all of those things that get in the way, it seems like it's out of your control, when in reality, perhaps on a certain aspect, let's look at it from a new lens, is because homeschooling your children is actually going to give them a better education. It will give them more hands-on. Perhaps your children need to learn through a variation of auditory, visual, hearing, sensing, tasting, touching, right? And they're not going to get that in school. So maybe from the big picture, the global aspect has supported you on what your kids actually need. So you're looking at any kind of experience through a different perspective. And I think that is what's really important to understand. Sorry, I've got a tag back there that's bugging me, is looking at the world circumstances right now with a new vision, a new way of navigating the waters, and looking at it and remembering every experience is for us. It's all for us. Nothing is against us. Nothing is happening to take us down, because when we die and we look back over our experiences, we have the opportunity to go, well, yeah, I learned from that, oh, that was just kick ass, but oh my God, I did learn from that. I'm stronger, I'm better, da 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 da. I learned to be kind, I learned to be of service, I learned to help others, I learned to be generous, all of those things. So if you start to look at things from a totally different viewpoint as to the circumstances, then it enables you to back to navigating through any kind of circumstances with better oars, a new motor, a better steering wheel, a new way of handling it, and then it doesn't seem so difficult, it doesn't seem so challenging, and then you recognize that everything is for us for a higher purpose, which is your higher self navigating your life and experience through this particular avatar, if that makes sense. So if you have any questions, you can always throw those out at me. And then this is another question that was fielded to me. This is actually quite funny. Maybe not everybody takes it that way, but I do. And that is, what should I do to protect myself from relatives during the holidays, right? It's the same kind of story. When we move into that space of light, when we become our own avatar, we then have the opportunity to change the outcome. When you're in this space and you're looking at a way to protect yourself from the family dynamics. In fact, I have to share this totally aside. I watch a ton of information. I'm an information junkie. So I am always taking in all this information from all over the world. I listen to people from England to New Zealand to Australia, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Bali, Spain, you name it, Germany. So I'm getting all this information. Every once in a while I need to disconnect from that. And so I turned on a show on Netflix. I know I should probably be off Netflix because of cuties. However, I was watching a show called Offspring, which is an Australian series, and it is the most dysfunctional family. So when this question came up, I'm going, oh my God, that sounds maybe like your family. I mean, all this stuff is hitting the main character. So the most important thing is when you're dealing with, again, back to being your strongest avatar self, and you've got some challenging people in your life. First of all, imagine a different perspective. Imagine you're all sitting around the table and you've got a bouquet of flowers your centerpiece, and you are looking at the roses, and somebody else is looking at tulips and daisies and everything. So your perspective is these people are very challenging. The key is to pick yourself up in your mind and go to the other side of the table and look at it from a totally different perspective. See them in their most joyous, fabulous self, and then again stay in your protection of light, and then see them again through new eyes and expect the best. And even if they still end up being dickheads, you can, from a different perspective, you can laugh at them going, okay, they are the characters in my game, right? They're the ones that you have to navigate around in a game. This is not about killing them off. This is about just moving around them, and then you win points. Maybe you get community chests. Maybe you get chance cards over here by navigating. So if you make it in your mind more of a game, and not a game, and that they are there to teach you how to shift your perspective on it, the outcome of your holiday experience will totally shift and change. Because there is not one family that doesn't have at least one challenging person. You know, it's like, again, we couldn't have a show if there wasn't some challenging aspect, right? We need the protagonist in an antagonist in any good show, any good novel. So guess what? Those are our lives. Again, we're like in a game at this point. So if you change it, your perspective from that level, then all of a sudden things shift. And trust me, it is a way of magic. It's a way of focus. It's a way of re-navigating your life. Very important. The challenge, of course, is nobody does this. I mean, I can tell you till the cows come home, but unless you do it, things don't change. And then people do the same old thing. I mean, all I have to do is look at this mass of humanity right now within America. They're doing the same old things. They're queuing into the past, into past leaders, past habits of doing things. That is not the way for our future, folks. It's just not going to. It's not going to happen. Just going to tell you right now, psychically, it's not going to happen. But when people still queue into the past and they're not willing to change and forge a new path, then things don't change. You have to be willing to take and make the effort. You have to be willing to be mindful. You have to be willing to do the daily work, because that's the only way your life is going to shift, change, be positive, creative, and magical. Okay? That's just the way it is. That's how life works. And we're at a place in our curve energetically, and that's why things are so tumultuous right now, that we needed to be hit over the head with a baseball bat, essentially, because we'd become very complacent, where everybody just wants the blue pill. Everybody just wants to stay in the matrix. Everybody wants to just hang out. And the only way to change that is to be mindful. And again, most people don't want to take the effort or take the time to be mindful of their own lives. There's a lot of blaming and shaming. So when you come back into this alignment as your strongest avatar, then you have the opportunity to be your best magical self. So let's see. Oh, again, here's another question from the field. Oh, this is a great question. I've forgotten about this one. How can I get support from my family when we have different values or vote differently? That is so applicable right now because we have so many divided families. A great question. Thank you for that. I really, really appreciate that, because that, again, goes in alignment with staying in our alignment, right? Staying in our light, connected to source. It has to do also with keeping our boundaries strong. And then, again, seeing things from a different perspective. Always turn that perspective and then make a decision. Of course, you have to stay with what's right for you. When you're constantly waffling between opinions or ideas, then you're spinning, right? You got to find what works for you. If you have to go around the whole table and look at all the flowers as that example, then find the ones that work and stay set. And from there, once you're anchored into the energy field that works for you, again, it's essentially having an opinion, having feelings, having thoughts about something. And then when you were asking for support from other family members, and sometimes, just straight up, sometimes part of the karma in your life is that's not going to happen. Some people are put into our lives to show us that we are our own best support, unfortunately. Wouldn't it be great if you had your parents or your siblings or your spouse or whomever, right, that give you that support? And sometimes they are placed in our lives on purpose, again, in our game simulation, that they're not there to support you on purpose because you signed up for that contract. Because guess what? We all have soul contracts. Okay, you're going to be my best friend. You're going to be the asshole in my story. You're going to be, the divorced husband in my story, on and on and on, right? I'm not equating the asshole and my divorced husband in the same context. It's just kind of rolled out. But you see what I'm saying? Everybody signs up for a job because that gives us more strength, more chutzpah, if you will. So if you recognize the players and you step back and you have this ability to observe the players in your life, then they take on a new role. You don't look at them as adversaries as much as teachers, going, okay, if they can't support me, how am I not supporting myself? Turn everything into a question. In what are they doing? What am I not doing for myself? What can I do for myself? Because sometimes, and I'm looking at the person who or gave me this question, I can see the family dynamics. And it's funny, as I see an insular group and then the next level out, so the family dynamics of husband and kids, and then parents, and then siblings, and then aunts, uncles, friends, all of this. I can see this circle around you. And I can see where there have been different sides taken, and the best thing to do is live your values. I'm just looking at the question. Live your values. Stand in your integrity, and when you do that, they can't help but see that, and they can choose to appreciate that, or they can choose to move forward. And if that's okay, again, not everybody is here in our lives to support us, unfortunately, because again, that is our lesson. Our lesson is then to support our own pathway. And when that happens, when you recognize that, other people will show up in your life to offer you that support that did not show up from your family, but will show up from others. It just happens magically. It just does. It's one of those incredible things. 2 seconds. I'm a tea drinker. And you'll see me drink out of the same mug every week, because this has special meaning. It's from Sundance Film Festival 2007. So to remember back kind of in that question aspect, when you're up to your eyeballs and alligators with stress and family dynamics and work dynamics and school dynamics, all of those things, it's important to understand that all of these things are coming to the surface right now so that you can look at them. All of these dynamics that are being thrown our way are here as ways to let go of stuff, things that no longer serve us, things that don't work. Look at things through new eyes, because this is a time of a shift, a global shift, a massive shift in humanity. No matter how we look at it, we are being squeezed through the eye of the needle, and we're going to come out on the other side no matter what. We are coming out in a way that is more positive, more in alignment. We have an opportunity to not connect in too much, or too much, depending on which road you want to go in with AI. I personally think that our own personal abilities without AI within our bodies are so magnificent. Again, we are so magical. Again, we are coming through this consciousness needle, and when we're out on the other side, we're clearing off the mud, going, okay, what's our new world going to be like? What's our new earth going to be like? And that's why having your avatar right now is going to be very essential for this next, literally 10 years. 10 years of change on this planet, 10 years We are going to hit between now and 2023 some major changes in 23 to 2030. God, I can't even imagine we're talking about these. Remember when we had 2000 and we thought everything was going to go south then? Well, here we are now. So imagine what's happening, going to happen over the next 10 years, 9 years, so to speak. So the more that you are in alignment with your strengths, your abilities, you're seeing yourself from a new perspective, the better able you will navigate the chaos, if you will, the external chaos, and then your own personal chaos starts to clear off, meaning the table. You know, I always, when I talk to my clients, I say, okay, let's put everything on the kitchen table and let's look at it. Let's dissect it. Let's see what's going on. Well, when you are more in this alignment and you recognize that you are the creator, then the piles on your kitchen table start to dissipate and the outside chaos stays away. And that's a critical piece in this, because then you don't take all this stuff on. For example, you know, all the nonsense that's going on out there, a lot of people take it on and then make it a part of who they are, and they have digestive issues, they have heart issues, they have headaches, you name it. The key, of course, is being the observer. So I don't have a problem observing what's going on because I don't take it on. And that's the key with you. If your life is filled with a lot of stuff on your table right now, it's because it's coming to the surface so you can clear out the things that no longer serve you, that no longer support you, that no longer that you need in your life. We have been conditioned now for quite some time that we need more, when in reality, back to our avatar, if you think about somebody in a game, they have their pack on their back and they have everything with them. So if you look at it through a new lens, this being squeezed through the keyhole into this new earth is about shedding of old things that no longer serve any of us, navigating through these new waters and really glomming onto the things that do work, things that really spark your interest and curl your toes. So that to me is really important. So if you're looking at a lot of things right now, just know, if you are the observer, that you're going, okay, this is here to teach me this is here to teach me that. I need to let go of that and let go of this and redefine what is most important as we move into next year, the following years, etc. Now, I am going to make a prediction, and this is kind of, it almost seems incongruous to what's being presented right now, but we will get beyond these masks. Right now, they are presenting that we're going to have to wear masks, you know, because that's on my table of issues. I have issues with masks, that we're supposed to wear masks for the next 2 to 4 years, God forbid. And it's not going to happen, because why? In my personal reality, and maybe in your personal reality, we are going to shift that by our focus. I'm not going to create that kind of timeline. In my timeline, again, being my avatar in my own game, you being your own avatar in your game, what is it that you want? Because when we accept that narrative, we are buying into a fear package that's being propagated out there. Again, your game, your story, your good guys, your bad guys, okay? Your choice, very important. So some of that, though, requires taking action in your personal world. Some of that requires being mindful in your personal world. So when you take that on and take responsibility, you are becoming response-able. You're responding ably to any situation. So again, things that are coming your way, recognize you created them so that you can learn from the experience. End of story. It's that simple. When you take that on, then bingo bongo, magic happens. It's that simple. Now I'm just looking at all the notes that I want to make sure that I covered, because again, and then we're going to do our visualization. And it's because bottom line right now, by being your own avatar, you realize that you are your own advocate. When you're your own advocate, then you help those around you and you take responsibility. You use your intellect combined with your intuition, and then you recognize that you, me, we are the divine plan. There is not going to be a day set for this, a day set for that. The divine plan, all of a sudden, we're going to have this ascension on January 30th. I had to say that. It's my birthday. Of 2021. Not going to happen. It doesn't work that way. The cosmic alignment within ourselves creates our own ascension process, right? So I wanted to explain that. That's why I really wanted to talk about the avatars, because that shows how we can be part of our own divine plan and how we then create with everyone. Okay, I'm seeing if I have anything. If I want to. Oh, one other thing I do want to mention is you're going to hear a lot of people out there right now. I think this is an important aspect, that are aligning psychics too, psychic healers, etc., that are aligning with what I would call the fear propaganda. And if anybody steps into fear propaganda or hatred, that is not of the light, and to me that is not a spiritual teacher. So just something to put into your basket, so to speak. If you're looking for different advocates out there, different tarot readers or psychics or healers or anybody in the mystical magical arts, make sure that none of that is in their vocabulary, because that is going to the past. It's going to an old paradigm. We are moving into a new paradigm, so that's very, very important. Again, I'm saying that without saying any names or directions or ideologies. I'm just saying if it goes into hatred or spewing, I see that a lot coming from different ones that are saying that they are spiritual teachers, and I'm thinking, not so. So anyway, I want you to think about that. So, okay, with that being said, I would like everybody to just relax. And the reason we want to do this again, I have had several requests from last week that doing the meditation visualization was very positive, and put them on the right path the next day, so and the next week. So with that, I would like everybody to just get comfortable wherever you are. Sit back, relax, take a deep breath, and just let your shoulders relax. Okay? Just relax. Take another deep breath. And while you do, visualize that circle of light above you, below you, and around you. Now breathe that in. And allow yourself to wander in your mind and feel your other senses in your body. If you hear anything, if you could smell anything, you taste anything from something you've eaten or had to drink, just feel the other senses in your body. Take another deep breath, and as you do, reach down into different parts of your body and feel the strength and pockets of courage and creativity and your human sovereignty in different areas in your body. If there are any pockets of shadow, send those areas light and fill them up with your breath. Relax even further and allow your shoulders to drop. Feel your body just relaxing. And as you do, let your mind wander. Just wander. And in your mind's eye right now, look down and see your feet. You are walking on a path in a forest, with scents of trees wafting into your senses. The smell of pine and juniper, cedar and sage fill your head. Off to the right is a stream flowing gently over rocks as it finds its way to a small lake. Follow the stream with your eyes. See the beauty. See the crystal water flow over the rocks. There are birds that are happily chirping in the background up on the different branches in the trees. A few chipmunks wander through the underbrush. You meander to the side of the lake near a large field. In the field are several deer grazing. There are mountains in the background, and they are reflected in the water, creating a mirrored image of the softly dusted snowy caps. Take another deep breath of the fresh mountain air. You sit on a flat stone next to the water. Look down into the water to see your image. What do you see? Expand your abilities to truly see yourself, your magical self, your avatar. Look at your eyes, their color. Have they changed? Is your hair the same? Your mouth, your ears? Do you have wings? Do you have on a hat, a crown? Notice your entire body and frame as you stand up and are reflected in the clear reflective pool. Notice all the details. Do you have a backpack? Do you have a satchel? Do you have a staff? Is there a dragon? Now memorize these details. These are your strengths and magical abilities. This is who you truly are in the cosmic sense. Your magical self. Gather your strength of all of these incredibly magical characteristics within yourself, and let these traits inhabit your being. Be this magical self, your cosmic soul. Be it. Activate it. As you walk back along the path, you hear the stream and the birds, and you notice the animals as you move back towards your portal to come back into your body. Bringing these attributes with you as you come so that you can utilize these strengths, these beautiful gifts, so that you too can make a difference in the world. And as you come back, visualize the light coming with you and spreading out around the world. We are here to make a difference. Now take a deep breath, come back into your body. See the magic, feel the magic, be the magic in your hands. Know that you have these wonderful gifts with you always. Perhaps if you saw a dragon, the dragon is still one of your magical spirit totems that travels with you. If you saw a cougar or a bear, they are also part of your totem. If you see that you are carrying something of strength with you, that is part of who you are. I hope that you memorized all of these wonderful gifts of your cosmic self, because in reality we have lived in multiple lifetimes, and in each of those experiences we gained gifts and strength and emotional fortitude. And it's the emotional fortitude that creates the form. It's our consciousness that creates the form of who we are. And when you recognize that and know that then you have that power, you have that strength, you step out of the fear, which I'm going to talk about briefly, and then your life can then be your own creative force. Recognize that fear and frustration, two different emotions that are really easy to tap into and be manipulated, because right now the media is really pumping the fear. The left is really promoting the fear, which then creates frustration. With that being said, do not step into those emotions, rather use them as catalysts for forward momentum. When you get frustrated, then you change. When you become fearful, use that as as if you're putting on new fabulous running shoes, because it's not to run away, but it's going to make you swifter, faster, and better able to handle any kind of situation. Fear, if utilized properly, can be a wonderful fuel, a motivational fuel to do good things. So instead of letting it consume you and disembowel you almost, is because that's happening a lot of digestive issues right now going on with so many of my clients, so many friends, digestive issues, and that's because they have allowed fear to disembowel them, to come back to center. And then when you do, you coming from this space and place, then you recognize that fear and frustration are nothing more than emotions that can be used to propel you forward. So from that base, if you look at it from that level and staying in your alignment and in your light, then the fear doesn't take you out, okay? Then you're able to use your avatar to do all those magical, wonderful things. So thank you, everyone, for being with me tonight. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. If you are at all interested in knowing more about me, if you don't, you can check out my website, just candiasanders.com. I have 3 books available on my website that you can check into. They're all on Amazon. And I've got other books that have been put on hold due to this year's craziness. But those are also in the process. And one of them is going to be wrapped around an avatar, because I think it's so important, this visualization of our magical gills. Maybe we do have magical gills that we can breathe underwater too. Our magical gifts. So with that said, I send you all love. Thanks, Sam. Thanks so much for being here. Sam is in Minnesota. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Love you too. This is my twin brother, by the way. So with that, love you all. I send you great things. Have a fabulous week. Remember about the carnelian, as, thank you, Chrissy, that the carnelian is here to help be very grounding. Remember that. Remember to stay in your light. Tina, oh, thank you. This is great. Tina's in Canada. She's in Eastern Canada. So thank you for showing up. I didn't know you were here. Thank you so much. I love you too. I do. I love all of you. You know that. I come from here. I love you all. I send you out with love and light. I will see you next week. And have a great week. Yeah, I miss you too. I'm down to this. So see, you guys are all saying hi. Love it. I'm out of here. See ya.